So welcome to Forever Honeymooning. My name is Angel, and I'm super excited because today we're with my good friend Zach. And a little bit about Zach. He's a Westpoint graduate. He was a captain in the U.S. Army, an Airborne Ranger, and he's currently a Chick-Fil-A owner here in Georgia. And so very, very excited to be here. And I have to say thank you. As if you're following our channel, you realize that I had some medical issues related to, well, not getting too much into it, but basically I was hospitalized and we had to come down to Georgia for treatment. And Zach was kind enough to open up his beautiful farm for us to bring our trailer to. And as a result of that, we also had an opportunity to do this interview today.
It's what you're doing, making me feel like I'm falling. And when you're moving, I can hear my calling. There's no one else here that I see but you. It's what you're doing that's making me feel like I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling in love.
So we met, well, I guess we met officially a year ago this week.
Yes.
Yeah, we were at a summit together.
Yes. Out in California, in
Right.
your neck of the woods. If you'd asked a year ago, like, hey, you're going to be hanging out at my house a year from now,
No kidding.
we would have thought you were crazy. But no, here you are. And so, yeah, officially a year ago today, we met in person.
Yeah, and well, I guess we've known each other a little bit longer than that. We
Right.
met virtually and had a lot of conversations. But let's talk a little bit about like your background. So, in my opinion, Zach's, excuse my language, kind of a badass. He's got, you know, you're a farmer, you're a farmer of people in a lot of ways, and we'll talk a little bit about your book. You're an owner of a Chick-Fil-A. You carry on several ministries. You are a family leader. We'll talk about your family too. But can you take us back to the youth in Cedartown and a little bit about your history?
Yeah, so was born in Rome, Georgia, and raised here in Polk County. My family moved here to Cedartown area when I was 7 years old, and then grew up here, Cedartown High School, graduated in 1995, met my wife, a high school sweetheart. I was 15 and she was 13, and we were boyfriend and girlfriend. But didn't stay together that entire time. We ended up breaking up when I turned 16, and her parents wouldn't let her go anywhere with me. So got back together my senior year at Westpoint, and we've been together 21 years.
Wow,
and so
meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely. We are forever honeymooning as well. With kids, with lots of kids. 7 kids to be exact.
Wow.
And so, yeah, my wife's family's from this area, this side of the county. Rockmart, Aragon side of the county. They've been here since 1849. And my family has been on the Cedartown side. My grandfather established the farm that you guys are staying on in 1957. And so that's a lot of family history in this community.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And the farm it's quite impressive. It's a beautiful location, isolated, and you know, a lot of work I can imagine. So you graduated high school in Cedartown, mm-hmm. and got accepted into Service Academy. So
yes.
Went to West Point, and tell us a little bit about that and what your career in the U.S. Army was like.
Well, it may not be correct English grammar statement, but I always say it's a great place to be from, but not to be at. So, and you know what I mean by that? I mean, it was a really difficult time, especially that first year as a plebe, and just going through all the hardship of the rite of passage, of all of that. And then it was really difficult for me because I don't consider myself like a naturally smart person. I have to work really hard at what I do. And so after the lights out every night, I'm underneath the covers with a flashlight studying. And of course, if I get caught, I'm in trouble. So, you know, I'd stay up super late and study. And but it is very tough, but a very good experience. And I'm grateful for my experience. And it taught me a lot about leadership and life and work ethic and lots of things that apply to my life today.
And you went on to become an Airborne Ranger.
Yes, graduated in 99, was commissioned as an infantry officer, and became an Airborne Ranger in the Army. Was Airborne qualified when I was cadet, and then went through Ranger school after graduation, became Ranger qualified, and then my first duty station was a rifle platoon leader at the 101st Airborne Division, Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Nice. And so you discharged as a captain? Is that?
I did get out as a captain September of 2005. My plan was to go back in the Army as a chaplain candidate. So I came off active duty to go through seminary and the chaplain candidate program. And then my whole plan was to go back in the Army as a chaplain. But that didn't quite work out. Long story, but I had started my own company, started Ranger Coffee Company. And we literally sold coffee all over the world. And I learned about entrepreneurship, really enjoyed being an entrepreneur, and then I decided to pursue some other opportunities, including the Chick-Fil-A opportunity, and just out of all that, decided, I really wanted to be a family man, and leaving my family for deployment. Like, my daughter was, right after she was born, I left. I was deployed for almost 3 months, and I came home, and when I left, she was this big, and I came home, and she was this big,
Sure.
and it was tough. And I have a lot of respect for my friends. I have a lot of close friends that stayed in, and they're all retiring right now at 20 years. And you look back, and a lot of people ask me, do you wish you'd stayed into retirement? And I don't regret my decision. I do miss a lot of things about the military, but I don't regret my decision, because I've been able to be there for my family and my kids, and I did serve my country. I did my part, and so.
We appreciate that. Thank you for that.
My pleasure.
Now, part of this journey for us was, my wife Melissa and I, we hit the road a few months ago, continuing our honeymoon, working remote, and kind of got sideswiped. I got taken out from under my feet. Literally, I was, we were hiking and enjoying what God's country, and suddenly I'm hit with a tick-related infection and wound up hospitalized and couldn't walk, and I'm getting around with a cane now, which is nice, but I'm at the phase of having to overcome some adversity. And you had a similar story not long after you started your Chick-fil-A career, right? So
Correct.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yes. It was October of 2011. I was walking back from Starbucks after a meeting with one of my leaders, and I wasn't paying attention, but to give, myself a little credit in these circumstances, this was a new highway that had only been open for about a week. And the crosswalk wasn't even fully painted. And I was walking across the street, and this car was trying to catch the green arrow to turn left. And I don't remember any of it, but a customer of mine was walking out, a retired helicopter pilot from the Army, was walking out, and he saw me. When he saw me, he said I was 20 feet up in the air. And he said I'd been hit by the car and was thrown up in the air about 20 feet. And I came down and landed head first on the windshield and was projected about 50 feet forward. Of course, I don't remember any of that. I had some pretty major trauma from that, brain trauma, head trauma. Fortunately, I didn't have any broken bones, amazingly. I didn't see it coming, so I didn't tense up or anything. I didn't have any broken bones. I had a lot of lacerations and glass in my back and neck, but no major broken bones or internal damage other than my concussion. And so I had a concussion for quite some time. I didn't even know I was a Chick-fil-A franchisee for a while. And a funny story, so my brain would reboot like every few minutes, and I wouldn't remember what had just happened. And so a nurse would walk in the room and would notice that my wife was pregnant with my son, and would say, "Oh, you're pregnant," like a new nurse coming in on duty. And she'd say, "Yeah, how far along are you?" And I'd wake up from, my next reboot, and I'd say, "You're pregnant?" Like, like I would rediscover every 10 minutes that my wife was pregnant. And so it was quite the day. And my dad and my wife were in the room together, and I'd ask all these questions like, what happened? Why am I here? And was an accident. Okay, well, is my car? No, you weren't in a car. Like all these questions. And so my dad and my wife would take turns answering the questions. So like, your turn. You're answering the questions this time. And so it's just looking back, it's pretty funny. But like, they didn't know if I was ever going to recover. Like I could potentially ask those same questions every day for the rest of my life. And by the grace of God, I'm here today, and you and I can have a cognitive conversation.
Sure.
But just really, I think honestly, just having a positive attitude about my recovery process, and just knowing that it was going to take time, that I was going to need to be able to stay positive rather than like getting in my head and being negative about what could happen or what might happen or what I may never fully recover. And I think that really made all the difference in just staying positive about it.
One of the, I guess the biggest takeaway for both of us and for anybody is understanding that there are things that are just beyond our control, and we have to be willing and able to accept those. Mm-hmm. But there are things that are very much within our control. And I was just reading a book just a few days ago called Man Thinketh, and really the book focuses a lot on the fact that our mind really dictates how we will succeed in life, and that is in business and family and in health and well-being. It's just, you have to have that positive attitude. And even, I didn't let this get me down. And it's been hard. I mean, when you can't get up and go to the restroom without help, and heck, I can't even put shoes on or put my pants on a few weeks ago, especially. And, but I wasn't going to give up. In fact, most of the people were telling me, you need to get on a plane and come home. And I said, well, I am home. This is our home for now. And my wife and I, Melissa and I, had a dream of doing something like this. And we fast forwarded a little bit because of COVID and the ability to work remote. But I'm not going to give up on that dream, and I'm not going to give up on my ability to walk and to hike and do all the things I was doing a month and a half ago. And so I think the same thing with you is once we recognize that this isn't it, we can control this. And so often people kind of just give up. They just kind of feel that, well, this is the cards I was dealt. And in some cases that's true, but there's so much more you can accomplish by having the right attitude, and having a positive attitude. So I think the key takeaway for any part of life is realizing that stuff's going to get thrown at you, and you just have to keep getting back up, and you got to keep running, and you got to keep punching sometimes, and you got to keep moving forward, and you can't let it get you down.
Absolutely.
Join Angel and Zach in session 2 when they discuss servant leadership and family.